Hello everybody and welcome back to another Techie Bits. Today we are going to be looking at the NexiGo N980P 1080p 60fps 120 degree viewing angle webcam. That is sure a mouthful. Taking a look at the side of the box, if you want to pause it, you can take a look at the specifications. I actually have the manual focus one here, because on these cheaper webcams I've seen it really struggles with autofocus, and that's just really a programming issue. So I decided to go for the manual sensor here. The outside of the box is pretty clean. You might have seen some other webcams like this that look pretty similar. Some go by Spadell, some go by other brands. I'm pretty sure they're made in the same place, just going under a different name, and they might have different quality. So without further ado, let's get into the box and let's see if this thing really is better than sliced bread or not. Give that box a good cut. It is pretty clean. It does look pretty nice. You could definitely stick this on a shelf somewhere and sell it, maybe at a Best Buy or a Walmart or something. Looking in the box, we have a user manual. English, Spanish, all kinds of different languages in there. We don't really need that. This is pretty much a plug and play webcam. You don't really need any drivers for it. Or you can just use the included Windows drivers. It does offer a few different property settings, which I'll show you later in the video, which will help improve the quality of your webcam. Another thing about this webcam is that it really likes light, so just be warned that you're going to need good lighting for this webcam. Pulling the webcam out of the box, it comes wrapped in a little piece of plastic, or a little plastic baggie here. But all in all, it is a sleek little device. It's got a I don't believe there's anything else here in the box, but it has a about a 6-foot long cable, and it has a really good mount with a 360 degree angle that you can spin it in. It doesn't have any protective coverings over any bit of it, so I didn't get to do any peeling here, but it's kind of a knockoff look to the Logitech, I believe maybe a Brio, or maybe it was the N922. I think that might be what it's going after. But that's that manual focus. You can see it's got a pretty large sensor here. So feels pretty high quality made. When this camera is being used, it does heat up a little bit. I'm assuming that is the internal compression, which it does do a little bit of processing on its own. It's got one little sticker on the side here that tells you that it's a manual focus, and then that is just a 1/4 inch thread on the bottom so you can mount it. But without further ado, let's get this bad boy over to the computer and test it out. Okay guys, we are sitting here at the desk and looking at OBS Streamlabs, so let's create a new scene. Let's call this cap box was on webcam. Hit done here. Add a source, video capture, add source. Let's call this NexiGo N980. I have to select NexiGo HD webcam. You can see it's picking me up here, but I look a little square. I don't look like I am in a 1920 by 1080. So I need to go to custom resolution, and that automatically sets it to 1920 by 1080. FPS, I'm going to go to 60 FPS. Video format, let's go to MJPEG, which it should be using anyway. And then that's all we're going to do for there. And now you can see it's much bigger than the screen. So let's go to fit to screen, and there you go. You can see it. So that is what this webcam looks like right out of the box without any editing. But we can tweak this and we can make it look a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Properties. We are going to go to Configure Video. And we'll have to open this little bit up here, but you should still be able to see everything. I've done some playing around with this already. One thing I will note with this is that, so if you go over here to camera control and auto or exposure is set to auto right now, if you get the exposure too high, so like -5, seems to be like it's too high for this webcam, it will start to frame drop really bad. It won't be able to maintain that 60 FPS like it's supposed to. So if we take that off of auto, we're at -6 now. You can see that darkened the image a little bit. And I'm actually going to drop it to -7. I like that look a lot. So we'll hit apply real quick, get rid of low light compensation. And that already looks really, really good to me. One thing I will note with this webcam is, for some reason, so I can kind of show you, so you can see it changing the color, the background color of me, just by moving my hand closer to it. I don't know why it does. I'm assuming that's auto white balance, because if you take that off, it gets rid of it. But here, we'll take it off quick, and you can see it's really green. And if I adjust the slider, you go really blue and then kind of green. And if you can nail this to what you need to, by all means, I would do that, so then it doesn't sit and fluctuate while you're recording all the time. But for me, I'm just going to leave it on auto. I really like the look of that. And that only adjusts the white balance, so you can still adjust the sharpness. I like my sharpness at about 3 with this webcam. You can see my hair. It's picking that up really, really well. You can also see, if I get really, really close to the webcam, it starts to have this fisheye effect, and that is because of the 120-degree field of view with this webcam. It's great for somebody that's looking to pick up, say, an entire room. Works great for that. Another use for this would be like where I'm sitting right here in the corner. It picks this up really well, versus like an 80-degree field of view camera would be better if you were sitting straight flat up against the wall rather than in a corner like I am now. One thing I will note with this webcam here, it is really sensitive to light. It likes light. So you got to make sure that you're in a well-lit room. Yeah, and then other than that, it's really just playing around with the settings, but it really does look pretty dang good. So I do actually have, and I would recommend screenshotting or using the snipping tool in Windows to screenshot your properties that you set them at, that you like them at, because for some reason when you shut Windows off, it resets these settings to default. So that's something to play around with, something to look at, and you might get away with that with like a Logitech, but I have screenshotted the settings that I like. So I'll set them to that now. Let's drop this down a hair. Let's see, bring contrast up just a tad. Drop the hue down just a little bit. Bring the saturation up just a tad. Sharpness at 3. Gamma, let's set our gamma at about 102, looks pretty good. Auto white balance, backlight compensation, and gain. So this is the image I like. I think this looks phenomenal. Like I said, this camera is really dependent on what type of lighting that you have. I have, between the light over here and the light over there, I have about 9,000 lumens on me right now. So yeah, it's really dependent on light, but once you get it dialed in, it does look pretty good. I'm pretty impressed for a $60 purchase. Let me get this to full screen. So let's create an output projector. Let's full screen that. Guess that's all we're gonna get. So I think it looks really good. Works pretty good with this black background. It allows you to play with it a little bit more. And then it does have a manual focus, the one I bought anyway, and it is a really stiff manual focus. You can see me kind of, I'm going out of view. See, it's picking up the background really well right now. And then going the other way, now it's picking me up really, really, really well. There is a little bit of film grain, I would say, with this camera. But is it a good substitute for, say, something like a Logitech Brio? I would say it's a really good substitute for something like a Logitech Brio. A Logitech Brio, if you want to buy that right now, is going to run you between $200 and $300. That is, if you can even find one. And one of the really nice things about this is not only is it 1080p, but it's 60 FPS. And that is true. You saw it in the menu there. I selected 60 FPS when I was setting it up. And just for the price point, because this I paid $60 for this, free shipping from Amazon. And I'm pretty satisfied with the quality, especially if you want to use this for like a up in the corner webcam or down in the corner webcam, whichever you prefer, in Streamlabs. So say, put it up here like this. You know, I can reposition the camera, I can reposition myself. It's a pretty versatile camera, and the quality does look pretty good, especially when you're using it in the corner like that. So we'll go back to full screen. But real quick, let's test the mic for you guys. This camera does include a mic, so I'll get that set up and I'll be back here in a second. Okay guys, this is what the internal mic on the NexiGo sounds like. It's only about a foot away from me with this 120 degree field of view. You have to have it pretty close to you to be able to pick up a good amount of you, but I mean it really does capture a large field of view, and 120 degrees is pretty expansive. But so needless to say, having it this close will improve the microphone quality as well. So I mean, that's a trade-off if you want that. But I'm gonna switch back over to my regular mic and wrap up the video with that. So I'll be back here in a second. Okay, if you guys were wondering how I was able to capture that audio or how you guys were able to hear it, I'm using an external capture card, and what I did in OBS Streamlabs was I opened this advanced audio menu, and this mic aux is the audio that the NexiGo is picking up, and I just changed it from monitor off to monitor and output, and that put it right out to the capture card, or it'll put it out to whatever your default monitoring device is. So if you want to listen to it through your headset, you can do that. OBS is pretty versatile that way. So anyways guys, this was my review of the NexiGo N980P, which, looking at it, it is very similar to a Logitech camera in styling. It's kind of a rip-off design, but the camera quality isn't too bad. This box actually looks pretty similar to Spadell boxes and a couple of other cheaper webcams. I think it's the same manufacturer that makes all of the webcams, but I do think that there is a variation in the quality of the webcam based on whatever one of those monikers or brands that you want to buy. So NexiGo or Spadell, those are the two that I know are supposed to be pretty good versions of this box. Some of them won't even come with this this printing on the front of the box of the camera. So I was actually when I was looking for a camera, an 8 megapixel camera that I could downscale to 1080p 60 FPS, because that would honestly give me a much better quality image as far as the clarity and the lack of pixelization. But I wasn't able to do that just because they don't make them, which I think is kind of odd, because you can have like a 16 megapixel sensor on a phone camera and then scale that down to 1080p 60 FPS and it looks phenomenal. But for some reason they don't do that in webcams, and they charge through the nose for webcams. Logitech's kind of got the market cornered on webcams, so needless to say, this was my review of the camera. If you guys liked this video, please hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos like this, if you want to see a review of the Razer Siren Mini, which is the mic that I'm actually using right now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll be coming out with a video reviewing this here very shortly. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.